What's going on, guys? This is Talking Sports Podcast with Adam and Alec, and we have a guest on this week, Nick. This is episode 13. So I'll give a little breakdown of what we're going to be talking about tonight, and then we'll get started. So first off, we're going to talk about the World Series. The Braves are World Series champions for the first time since 1995, so that's pretty cool. We're going to get to talk about that. We're going to break down some NFL games, some of what happened last week and what's going to go on this week, this coming weekend, and a lot of big trade things as the trade deadline was yesterday happened. So that'll be good. And then we'll talk about NCAA football. The first college football playoff rankings were released last night. And there was some surprising things that a lot of people thought of. That happened there in the top four. So we'll get to break that down, and then we'll talk about the NBA for a little bit. So let's get started.
That first topic was the World Series. Atlanta closing it out against Houston in Houston, and the series was 4-2. Jorge Soler had a huge series.
Oh, yeah.
Really, you have anything to say on that one?
Jorge Soler, the MVP, in the top of the third, he hit a bomb to left field and it left the park. And that put him up 3-0. And they just made a huge statement yesterday to close it out, winning it 7-0. That's how you close out a series right there.
Yeah, totally, for sure. Looking at a couple of his stats in 20 at bats, 6 hits, 3 of those being homers. He had a 300 batting average with a 391 on base percentage and 800 slugging, which is pretty good in a series. I believe he's walked 7 times, so clearly made a difference at the plate.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of disappointing they couldn't close it out in Atlanta, because I feel like it's always better when you win in front of your fans. And I don't know, Atlanta deserves that after losing the All-Star game this year. But either way.
Yeah, I was really happy for Freddie Freeman. His whole career in Atlanta, and brings a ring back to the city, breaks the curse. They've had an Atlanta championship curse for a long time now. And here they are finally getting it done. First time the Braves have won since 95. A huge key for me on why the Braves won the series was their bullpen. Their bullpen dominated this series. And last night, Max Fried went for 6 innings, only allowed 4 hits, and had 6 strikeouts. And he was just slinging it last night, and that was a huge reason why they won.
And this is a team that no one thought at the All-Star break would be able to make it to the World Series, much less the playoffs.
Yeah.
You lose Acuna in the middle of the year, who's arguably one of the top 5 players in the league at the moment. And then a couple of starting pitchers go down. So this team's just going to be revamped for next year also. Maybe
they lost Charlie Morton in game 1.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week.
That dude is something.
He's something else, pitching on that broken fibula. But, he couldn't pitch the rest of the series, and it's just amazing. It was really, really nice to see the Braves win it in 6.
Yeah. A couple of storylines that came out today on the MLB. First one was Buster Posey is expected to retire next week.
Oh, wow.
That was kind of weird because most players nowadays want that farewell tour, and Buster Posey didn't really care about it. He spent every year with the Giants, so it's kind of nice seeing guys do that.
They made a run this year too. They won their division, and everybody, I feel like most people thought it was going to be them or the Dodgers coming out of the NL, but here are the Braves,
Oh, yeah, for sure. Going back to Buster Posey, definitely kind of seen shades of 2010 him back with his MVP season. Definitely kind of lit it up on the stat board.
It hurts my heart, though.
Yeah. It'd be tough to see him gone.
For sure. One of at least top 10 catchers during his time period. So
yeah, definitely.
Do you think Correa returns to Houston next year?
Man, there's a lot of big name free agents this offseason, and Correa is one of them. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if all these teams are going to be able to pay him. I don't know if Houston's going to be able to pay Correa. He's probably going to go somewhere where he gets the most money.
I think that's all I had on MLB. If you had anything else.
Nick?
No, I'm good.
All right, so we'll jump to the NFL then. Adam, you're the NFL guy.
All right. So again, we're gonna talk about the trade deadline. My biggest takeaway, and I think obviously the biggest thing that happened yesterday's trade deadline was Von Miller has been traded to the LA Rams.
That defense is already top 5 in the league. It just got way better too.
That defense
yeah.
is already insane. Like opposing quarterbacks, opposing offensive linemen having to block Aaron Donald, arguably the best player in the league.
Mhm.
And now you got to worry about Von Miller on the same defensive line. Like, that is not fair. And then you got Ramsey in the secondary, arguably the best corner in the game. Like,
Yeah.
That defense is one that you mess around on Madden and make.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just insane. I mean, the Rams are already one of the best teams in the league, and you can tell that they're making that push to try and win a ring this year.
Dude, whoever comes out the NFC is probably going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the NFC stacked. Anything else? Trade deadline? We can talk about Melvin Ingram getting traded to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I saw that one.
That's another big name headed to Kansas City, which the Chiefs are struggling, so they kind of need all the help they can get right now.
Yeah, Chiefs struggling. I think that's definitely a move they're trying to make to bring in some extra help. I think they know they're struggling. We know they're struggling. The U.S. knows they're struggling, and it's definitely a move to say, hey, we're not out. We're still trying to contend. So
Right.
it'll be interesting looking forward, see what they can do.
I think a big surprise, still talking about the deadline here, is Deshaun Watson not being traded.
I was just about to say that same thing.
Yeah.
So he'll probably not play the rest of the year. And then,
Yeah. And there were talks, we talked about it a little bit in the last episode. There were talks of the Dolphins in trade talks, but they weren't sure with all the legal trouble that was going to go on. They were trying to figure out things from the league, what was going to happen with that. So that could have played into why it didn't happen. I'm not really sure. But Deshaun Watson is still a part of the Texans, and like you said, probably not going to play.
what's up?
And another move, AP getting signed to the Titans after Derrick Henry's injury.
Yeah.
He's back.
He isn't playing this week, is he?
I think he will be eligible to play Sunday.
I think he will be. I think they originally signed him to the practice squad, but he should get pulled up quickly, you would think.
Yeah, I think they've already signed him to the active roster.
They probably already signed him to the active roster.
Yeah, I was going to mention Derrick Henry goes down for the year.
Yep.
And so does Jameis Winston.
Yes, those are two big losses for those teams who have been pretty successful this far into the season and could hurt those teams pretty bad in the future.
And there's a rumor going out because Phillip Rivers said if the Saints called him, he'd entertain that offer.
Oh, wow.
We might see Phillip Rivers in black and gold.
That would be crazy. I mean, the Saints have been here before, it seems like. Last year when Breeze was hurt, Taysom Hill stepped up. And then didn't they have Teddy Bridgewater last year? Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater for them. So that'll be an interesting team to watch these next couple, I guess, the rest of the season to see if they can make a push to make it into the playoffs.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I saw Michael Thomas is sit out the rest of the year.
Yeah, he's out the rest of the year. He's been on IR the first 8 weeks or whatever, and with an ankle injury.
Yeah, he just re-injured it. He's been battling injuries the whole year. He just said I'm recovering. He's not trying to come back.
It's kind of smart.
Yeah.
Any big surprises from the games last week?
Oh, yes, the biggest one of them all. Sunday night at 6:30, we find out Dak Prescott's not playing.
Yeah.
I lost hope. I was really nervous. I was really hyped for the game, and then that kind of just went all downhill when Dak heard Dak wasn't going to play. But 7:20 when the game kicked off, it was rush hour. Cooper Rush, the man, the myth, the legend, Cooper Rush led us in to Minneapolis, and we came out with the dub 20-16. Cooper Rush absolutely lit up the Vikings, threw for 325 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the final play in the end zone, Cooper Rush to Amari Cooper, coop to coop for the game-winning touchdown. Can't ask for more than that.
Yeah.
Any takeaways you got from that game?
While we're on Cowboys Vikings, we have to talk about the 3rd and long, Ezekiel Elliott.
Yes.
That is prime Zeke
Yes.
in its true form. 4 broken tackles on the same play, but the team on his back. Watching that game, it's like, man, are the Cowboys really going to just tie it with a field goal? And then they go 4 vertical routes and get Zeke on a little out route, throws a check down, and he just picks it up. And then you knew they were going to score. You knew that Cowboys were going to come away with it.
Oh, yeah. And if you remember, we had the penalty that backed us up to 3rd and 16.
Yeah.
And then Mike Zimmer called 2 timeouts in a row, which put us back at 3rd and 11.
3rd and 11, yeah.
And then Zeke ends up getting that crazy first down. And like you said, if Zeke doesn't get that, we're in overtime. And who knows what happens in overtime.
Yeah.
I think one of the more crazy performances last week was Mike Wright from the Jets.
Mike White, yes.
Oh, yeah. Mike White.
He threw for what, 405?
Doing off.
Yeah.
5 touchdowns.
On the Bengals, the red hot Bengals.
Yeah.
The Bengals have been playing so good this year, and then they just laid a dud against the Jets.
Who knew? Who knew, man?
So is it now Mike White time and Zach Wilson bye-bye? Or
Yeah,
Well, I guess, yeah.
I mean, if Mike White can keep putting up those numbers, I don't think you can say no to that. So I guess it'll be interesting going forward.
I think that's all the player news that we had. If we want to start getting into the games now.
Yep. We'll get into the games here. Again, so I picked 3 games for this week that I thought were big key games in the NFL that have playoff implications, whether it's there's 2 divisional or 1 divisional game this week that obviously is for playoff implications, and then 2 other big games against big name teams that I think are going to be fun to watch. First one is Packers versus Chiefs. If you haven't heard the news, I think it was yesterday, Aaron Rodgers tested positive for COVID. So he will not be playing in that game on Sunday. And last week they didn't have Devontae Adams due to COVID. So will Devontae Adams be back? I'm not sure. I don't think we have that answer yet. I'm sure we will by probably Friday or Saturday if Adams will play. And then you got the Chiefs who, this is not the same Chiefs team we've seen the last 3 years. Barely beating the Giants on Monday night. So what do you think is going to happen in this game?
This is definitely a must-win for Kansas City. It was already a must-win before, but knowing that the reigning NFC MVP is not playing, you have to win this game.
Yeah.
I mean, if they win, Kansas City will be at 5-4. They'll be back in contention. But if they drop it, it's not good.
Oh, yeah. And the game's in Arrowhead, too. So that's definitely in the Chiefs' favor.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers. I know you're big on Jordan Love. So
I am
what do
a
you
big
think?
Jordan Love believer. This is the making for a storyline, future documentary about the career and legacy of Jordan Love. You had Favre, then you had Rodgers, and now Rodgers is out. It's Jordan Love time. Right. It's time he steps up. And it'll be interesting to see coming off the past NFC champions to see what he can do.
You got a score prediction on this one, Adam?
My score prediction is I'm taking Green Bay in a close one, 24-20. I think Green Bay is by far the better team. I'm taking the Packers in a close one. Now, I'm taking the Packers but I think this is a very winnable game for the Chiefs. Without Aaron Rodgers, this is the game when the Chiefs could kind of flip the switch and start to turn their season around. I don't know if it'll happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if it happened. But my gut's telling me to go with the Packers, 24-20.
How about you?
I can kind of see this game going a little more higher scoring. I'm thinking probably more 31-27, something in those lines. Still going to the Packers. I really see the Chiefs have really been struggling, and this Packers team is a top 3 team in the NFL. I think we've seen this whole last week, the backup quarterbacks have been getting it done this year. I think Jordan Love will get it done. I don't see any reason why the 7-1 Packers are going to lose to the 4-4 Chiefs.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna go Kansas City 28-17.
All
I
right.
think the offense starts to click this week and kind of hopefully turn things around, make the playoffs. I just don't think Green Bay's offense without Aaron Rodgers is good enough to keep up with Kansas City's offense when they're clicking.
Yeah.
So I think this is a real big statement game for Kansas City. Mahomes going to go off. I got Kansas City by 9 or 11, I guess.
With the Chiefs struggling, look for, and especially without Aaron Rodgers playing, look for Aaron Jones and Dylan, the other backup running back, to have a big game. I think that's the key for the Packers to come away with the win. They got to control the line of scrimmage.
Next game, we had the Cardinals at the 49ers with Arizona a 1.5 favorite. What do you got on this one, Adam?
So this is obviously NFC West divisional game. This is probably the best division in football. You got the Cardinals, you got the Rams, you got the Niners. I mean, this is the best division in football, really. So, and divisional games in the NFL, anybody can win any week. Like, especially the games in where the 49ers play. I just blanked on that. Santa Clara, I think. So 49ers home game. They're 3-4 right now. The Cardinals obviously 7-1, coming off a big win against the Packers. Kyler Murray's been banged up. I don't know. I haven't seen his practice availability this week, but I know he's been battling some small injuries. I don't know if that'll affect him and his availability in the game. I definitely think the Cardinals are the better team. I'm taking the Cardinals 31-21. That's mine.
Well, let me ask you this, Adam. Do you think MVP Kyler Murray is going to be affected by a little injury? Oh, he's a little banged up. This guy has been balling out. I got the Cardinals over the Niners, 34-24.
Well, J.J. Watt's out for the season. So that's going to hurt their defense a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you said, Kyler banged up. He'll most likely play. Is DeAndre Hopkins going to be full 100% go? We don't know yet. He was off and on Thursday night. I do think Arizona bounces back with a win here against San Francisco. I got 21-17 Arizona. Then next up, we had Tennessee and the Rams.
All right. The big storyline of the Titans this week is Derrick Henry having to have season-ending surgery in his foot, which led them to going out and signing Adrian Peterson. Derrick Henry is basically the focal point of – not basically, Derrick Henry is the focal point of their offense.
100%.
So I feel like that's going to affect them big time. Adrian Peterson's a great running back. They got McNichols as their backup. He's a great running back, but you can't just go out and replace Derrick Henry. And then obviously the Rams picking up Von Miller this week, and the Rams are just one of the best teams in the league. Their defense is really good. Matthew Stafford, they've turned around that offense. Their offense is a powerhouse. This game's going to be on Sunday Night Football. That's going to be a fun one to watch. I think the Rams and their defense dominate. I'm taking the Rams 21-10.
Well, when you look at this one, it's going to be really interesting because the Titans give Derrick Henry the ball close to 30 times a week. It is their offense. Run the ball, set up play action, get the ball deep to A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. With Derrick Henry gone, I see Ryan Tannehill having a big day, really making the move forward as a quarterback that we kind of expected him. We expected him to become. However, I don't think it's enough. I don't think AP can handle that workload. And Jeremy McNichols is a good back, but he's not a workhorse. He's going to be a third down back, passing situation guy. So I only see him maybe running 20, 25 times between the both of them. I see the Titans winning. I see the Rams winning 31-17.
Kind of piggyback on you with the Tannehill thing. I don't think he's good enough to get this Tennessee Titan team to playoffs. They got a decent schedule coming up. Right now they're sitting at 6-2.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, they might be able to get a wild card. I don't think they're going to win their division anymore. I think Indianapolis will come back and win the division. But as far as this week goes, I think this defense is going to be too much for Tannehill to do anything against. I got the Rams 21-10. Because Matt Stafford's having a career year this year. Looking at stats, he's 2,400 yards, 22 touchdowns, only 4 INTs. And you got Kupp going for just under 1,000 yards already on the season. So this Los Angeles whole unit really is phenomenal this year. I think it's going to be too much for Tennessee and should be not an easy win, but fairly easy win.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford's finally getting that recognition. I feel like he's deserved. His whole career he's been an elite quarterback. He's been a great quarterback on a terrible team. And now he's around weapons and you're seeing the great quarterback that he's always been, in my opinion.
Did we want to do a score prediction for the Cowboys game? Or do we just want
to Cowboys Broncos? Dak should be back this week. Go Cowboys. I'm taking the Cowboys by at least 14. I think this is a game the Cowboys will dominate. The Broncos just lost Von Miller. Cowboys should dominate this game.
So, question real quick, because I stayed home yesterday with Tess, and a lot of the ESPN shows talking about if Dallas should sit Dak Prescott for this game, make sure he's healthy, or if they want him to play. Because NFC, you got 3 or 4 teams sitting at 7-1, Dallas being one of them, and home field advantage only goes to number 1 seed throughout the playoffs. Do you think it'd be smart to sit Dak, or do you just want him to play, get the dub, move on?
That's a good question. I know that he's supposed to be full in tomorrow's practice, like without any limitations. So I think it'll be key to see after tomorrow's practice how Dak's feeling, how the calf is. If it's still bothering him, obviously you want to take precautions. But I know, I mean, Dak's our franchise quarterback. You got to be safe. But I know that ticked him off last week that he didn't get to play.
Yeah, because he was doing all his pregame warm-ups and everything.
Yeah.
Because they were literally showing it before the game and then sat there and talked for the trainer 35 minutes. Turns out it's not playing. So, yeah.
I think Dak will play. What do you think?
Cowboys, Broncos. I think if Dak's ready to go, play Dak, get the dub, win by a couple scores, blow them out of the water, show them who the Cowboys are. However, if Dak's not 100%, I don't see in any situation the Cowboys losing this football game, even with Cooper Rush. So I think it's a matter of, is Dak ready or is Dak not ready? If he's 100%, go ahead. If not, then I think you should sit him another week.
I got Dallas 28-13. Dak probably playing. But like you said, kind of depends after tomorrow and then leading up to the game. What's the Thursday night game this week? Was it?
It's bad. Colts Jets.
Colts Jets.
Hey, Mike White.
Could
Hey, Mike White.
could
Mike
be
White.
interesting.
Mike White.
Sure.
It could be interesting. Mike White show. I mean, who knows? What if he throws another 400 piece?
People
It's
are gonna
over
start
for-
believing.
It's over for what, Zach Wilson? Yeah.
Jets, Jets.
Hop on the bandwagon now.
All right. Y'all got anything else you want to talk about on the NFL side?
Jalen Smith was cut, and now we
Oh,
can
yeah.
move to college.
All right. So
Shout out to Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
For winning NFC Defense Player of the Week.
Oh,
Had like 12 tackles in the game Sunday, 4 of them TFLs. So shout out to our boy Micah.
All right, playoffs. Georgia 1, Bama 2, Michigan State 3, Oregon 4, and then the first 2 out, Ohio State and Cincinnati. Notable Big 12 teams, you had OU at 8, Oklahoma State at 11, and Baylor at 12. What parts of that do y'all agree with? What parts do y'all not agree with it?
Man, I don't think Oregon should be as high as they are at 4. Yes, they've had some big wins. They beat Ohio State, but they also lost to Stanford. That's a terrible loss. Stanford is doing nothing this year, and they're going to be number 4 in the country after that in the first college rankings. I get it, maybe like towards the end if they keep winning and stuff, but the first ranking
Right.
of the year, and they're number 4 in the country. That one's kind of confusing to me.
Right. I feel like they got 3 of the 4 teams right. I wouldn't necessarily say they got the right order. I think those first 3 teams all deserve to be in the top 4 at this moment. That 4th spot, kind of want to get to Cincinnati because, I mean, they got a top 10 win on the road against Notre Dame.
Yeah.
They're undefeated. Ohio State lost to Oregon, who lost to Stanford, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And then the case for OU is just they haven't exceeded the expectations, I guess.
Our wins have not looked good,
Right.
but we're still 9-0.
Right. And y'all will be tested the next 3 weeks. Well, I guess the 4 weeks because y'all off this week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clear any of those 3 Big 12 teams, if they run the tables, they'll probably be in there, meaning OU, OSU, or Baylor.
Yeah.
Because for the last 2 teams I mentioned, they're going to have to play OU twice. So.
Yep.
And Cincinnati just keep winning out. It is irritating not seeing a non-Power 5 team be able to make it at all. Because I don't know. It's kind of like the college basketball tournament. You got the mid-majors going in and upsetting a top 3 seed. You never know when you get Cincinnati out there.
I think Cincinnati should be 4. I mean, they're undefeated. Like, come on. Give them some respect, you know? They might not be playing a crazy schedule, but, I mean, if you go undefeated and win your conference, you're going to get in. So if Cincinnati wins out, I think they'll get in.
What do you think?
Well, here's the problem with the college football playoffs. When you only allow 4 teams, it starts to become more than just putting the 4 best teams in there. If Cincy wins out, they deserve to be in the top 4. However, no one wants to see Cincy play. I mean, they're good, and they're kind of an underdog, but like in terms of fan popularity, they want to see Georgia, they want to see Alabama, they want to see Ohio State, they want to see Oregon. I mean, Clemson isn't even on here, but Clemson's been a past favorite. That's just one of the mine. Obviously, nowhere be there this year, but same with like Wake Forest. I know Wake Forest is another kind of underdog spot to kind of maybe slip in if they finish out undefeated, but the NCAA doesn't want Cincy or a teams like Wake Forest to make the top 4, and that's the problem.
I think that's a really good point there.
Yeah. Because I was talking to a buddy up at work, and he basically said, you put Clemson's logo on Wake Forest resume, they're a top 4.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's
which
true.
goes back to what you're saying is the logo, the brand recognition.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. If those are the four best teams, then yeah, there's no argument. But
Yeah.
at what point you got to give Cincinnati some respect? You got to give Wake Forest, if they run the tables, a little bit of respect.
This all goes back, in my opinion, the playoff needs to be expanded.
Hmm.
I think it
Yeah.
would just create more chaos. And what do college football fans love? We love chaos. College football is the craziest time of the year, basically, in sports. And like, what would make it more crazier? Expanding the playoffs.
You think they should expand to 8 or 12?
I think just anything more than 4. If you go 8, that's great. If you go 12, that'd be even crazier. Just something more than 4.
Right.
Yeah. Anything to give the extra team like Cincy just a room, just a spot.
Right.
5, even 5. Give the top seed a bye. I don't know how that works, but the first team gets a bye and then like a wild card playing almost. Just give them a chance. And it just
Right.
seems like with a top 4, there's always going to be a loser. There's always going to be someone that's left out.
Yeah. So last week we both went 3-2 on our picks, just like in NFL. This week we're doing 3 games. First game up is Auburn at Texas A&M. A&M coming in 4.5-point favorite. Is at College Station, so you got the 12th man. What's your prediction on this one, Adam?
Man, I shared my feelings of how I feel about Bo Nix last week. I've always liked this kid since he was a freshman. They got a big win last week against Ole Miss. They were at home for that game, so playing on the road in College Station is tough. Alabama knows that firsthand. That's their only loss this year. I've got faith in Bo Nix, though. I'm taking Auburn 35-28.
Well, it's tough to play in Texas. It's tough to play in College Station. I see A&M beating Auburn 45-40.
Close one.
Close one, yeah. But,
I got A&M 28-17. I think because there are only 2 losses this year coming to Mississippi State and Arkansas, 2 quality opponents. And then they're still riding that natural high off of beating Alabama at home. I think they carry that momentum into this game, beat Auburn, and then move on to, I think they'd be 7-2 at that point. And then
They're ranked 13, right?
I
It's a
believe
13-14 matchup, I think.
Yeah, A&M's 14.
Auburn 14.
Yeah. So
That'll be a great game.
next game we got Michigan State at Purdue. Mentioned this earlier. This might kind of be a sleep through game for Michigan State, coming off that win against Michigan in a crazy game. 1 point thought Michigan was going to run away with it. Look back up and Michigan State won. What do you think about Michigan State? You think they sleep through it, or you think they come out locked in? And
This is definitely a trap game for Michigan State on the road against Purdue, who over the years, Purdue has been a really tough opponent, especially when they're at home, when Purdue's at home. They've been a tough opponent. I think it was a couple of years ago when they knocked off Ohio State, I think, and like they've had some big wins in their house. Michigan State is by far the better team, but this is a trap game. They got to come locked in, focused, ready to play. They can't come and be high on that win against Michigan in that crazy rivalry game. They got to be focused. The past is in the past. That doesn't matter anymore. They got to focus on Purdue. I'm taking Michigan State in a game that's in my prediction's probably closer than what people will think. I think because Purdue is going to come out ready to play. I'm taking Michigan State 35-22.
I think Purdue is going to get an early lead. Michigan State's not really going to come ready to play. I think they're going to turn it around second quarter, maybe at halftime, and kind of run away with it. I'm going 40-20.
Okay, I got Michigan State 24-14. I think they're going to start off slow. Kind of expect to be easy because of what they did last week, and then probably halftime flip the switch, go up. I wouldn't say an easy win, but a convincing win. Probably not too much stress levels there for Michigan State.
Mhm.
And then our last game, Baylor at TCU. The main storyline in this one, Gary Patterson retiring. That's huge. And it's kind of weird doing it this week with the rivalry game against Baylor and what Gary Patterson versus Baylor has been the last 10 or so years. Adam, you want to start us off on that?
So Gary Patterson, he's been coaching at TCU forever. And was it a retirement or was it a mutual parting ways?
I think it was a mutual parting ways.
Mutual parting ways.
Yes.
I don't understand why teams do that in the middle of the season, especially like you said on a big rivalry game like this is. So I think that's really gonna affect TCU. I think Baylor wins. Baylor's a better team. I take Baylor 35-14.
I think it's going to be close. Rivalry game. I got him. Baylor winning 28-21.
To touch on you with the whole teams firing coaches in the middle of the year, some of the sources on ESPN and TCU's affiliates were saying that they're trying to beat Texas Tech to sign Sonny Dykes from SMU.
Oh,
Because Tech, if you remember, fired Wells last week before the OU game. I think both of those schools really want Sonny Dykes. One of the other coaches that was on the market was I believe his last name is Traylor at UTSA.
oh yeah.
I think they're sitting at 7-0, but he just signed a 10-year extension to keep him there until 2032, I believe.
Oh wow.
So I think their main goal is try to get Sonny Dykes probably at the end of the year.
Yeah.
As far as this game goes, this is honestly kind of a trap game for Baylor also because they got the big game against OU next week. I think they start off slow on offense. Defense is gonna be defense the rest of the year. I mean, not worried about the defense. Offense though, probably start off slow, turn it on at halftime. I got 28-10 Baylor. And then one thing I want to say from last week, I told you Abram Smith was going to be better than Deshawn Robinson. I told you that.
You did call that.
Yeah. Bijan Robinson, 17 for 43. Abram Smith, 20 for 145.
You said 150. So
I did.
That's pretty good.
No one wanted to believe me about Abram Smith, but
It was a little bit
Sleeping on
scary
it.
there in the beginning for y'all, but y'all turned it around.
yes, every time you're watching the game and the announcer says something about, this quarterback only has one interception or zero interception, he's going to throw an interception immediately after that.
Yep.
That's what happened to Gary Bohannon. He threw 2 that game. He threw 1 all year going into that game. So hopefully, I mean, he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's taking care of the ball really well this year. He should be good against TCU. Should be an easy win. Then buckle up for next week.
Is that all we got for college football?
I believe so.
Should be another fun and exciting week of college football.
Where's game day at? Is it in Cincinnati this week?
Is it in Auburn A&M? Is it there for that game?
Let me look it up real quick. I thought I saw something about Cincinnati Tulsa, which would be a weird
That would be
game.
a weird.
Schedule.
I feel like it should be Auburn A&M. It's 13-14 matchup. That's the best game of the week.
Auburn A&M is on CBS, so that's not going to be – it is Cincinnati Tulsa.
Really
Yep, ESPN2 at 2:30.
interesting.
And then I was hoping Baylor OU would be game day, but Fox picked them up, so it's probably going to be that
Oh,
big
really?
one kickoff,
Big man. Yeah.
which is irritating. Because I want that game to be a night game. I feel like night games are so much better than day games.
Oh yeah, they definitely are.
So do you, either one of y'all have anything you'd love to add to the college football slate?
I think we're good.
Do we have a Heisman favorite yet? I know we are going to touch on that. I mean, other than the Michigan State running back.
Yeah, Michigan State running back. I talked about Matt Corral last week. He was still good, but obviously didn't produce like a Heisman would in that game against Auburn, and they didn't win. So I don't know. We got to keep watching it week by week and see who stands out. But probably the Michigan State running back.
You got a Heisman favorite right now?
Michigan State running back.
All green on Michigan State running back. Can't think of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're great podcast guys.
Yeah.
Touch on the NBA a little bit. Not much going on for the Thunder. I think they've won one game against the Lakers
Hey,
last Wednesday, actually.
we did.
Maybe every time we
Talk
record a
about
podcast,
what we get our first win, and we got our first win. So
it might be every time we record a podcast, we get a win.
I don't think we play tonight. So
Tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. The only really Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's going off.
oh yeah.
I saw a statistic earlier today that he's leading the NBA in isolation points.
That doesn't surprise me at all. That man
Right.
is a stud.
And then every time we play the Clippers, that big trade always gets brought up about Paul George and all the draft picks they got. It's insane how much Clippers gave up for him.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Us and our 37 draft picks,
Right.
first and second round picks in the next 10 years or whatever, 5,
Yeah,
6 years. whatever it
Little Timmy in the 5th grade about to be the Thunder draft pick.
is.
Another bright spot is Giddey. He leads all rookies in assists per game. His stat line through 29 minutes per game, he got 11 points, 5 boards, and 6 assists.
Giddey has surprised me big time. We talked about it last week, like when we picked him up, when we drafted him, we were like, "Who's this guy? What are we doing?" And now we look at him, and he was obviously prepared for the NBA. He's making plays. Exciting, bright future for the Thunder, I think.
And the weirdest part about that is when they were playing Golden State last week, Golden State said that if OKC didn't pick Giddey, they were going to pick Giddey.
Oh wow,
And that team is already really good. So adding
Yeah.
Giddey to that mix would be insane.
that would.
There's not much NBA to talk about.
Well, I know my Mavericks are kind of doing okay, losing to some teams that probably shouldn't lose to, beating some teams we probably shouldn't beat. So kind of just all over the place right now. Pretty inconsistent.
Luca.
Yeah.
That's all you got going for you, Luca?
Yep, Luca's pretty much all we got. Luca's the only bright spot right now.
You got Boban.
Boban, yeah.
Boban, hey.
Boban.
7'2" guy. Do you guys think Dame Lillard gets traded at any point this year?
I don't know.
The question is, does Damian Lillard want to be traded?
I don't think he wants to be.
I don't really think he does either, and I don't
I don't
really
think-
see it happening,
I
to
don't
be
think
honest.
it will. I'm gonna say no.
So you think Portland's just going to hold on to him?
I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna hold on to him.
Now, is that the right move? I don't know. I think
I don't know.
for Dame's career, I think he needs to be moved and go lead someone else or help someone else win a chip. But I just don't think he really wants to leave, and I don't think they're going to end up moving him.
At what point do you think Portland starts thinking about their franchise, though? Like moving forward? Because Dame's 30-ish, right around that age.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, he's reaching his peak.
I think mid-season, when we get closer to the trade deadline, if the Blazers aren't doing too hot, then some teams are probably going to start talking to them about trade offers. If they get something they like, then they might pull the trigger.
Yeah, I only see that happening if they get something crazy, like
A lot of draft picks.
a lot of draft picks or like a superstar swap type situation, because around the trade deadline, Dame's gonna start doing Dame things, and
That's true.
he's not gonna want to leave. Fans aren't gonna want him to leave, and so it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Would it be best for the franchise? Probably, but who knows what they'll do.
It's definitely nice seeing those guys that want to stay
Oh yeah,
in a city like you had Giannis bring a title back to Milwaukee.
sure.
Yep.
3 years ago, you had Russ wanting to stay in OKC, but obviously that turned out to be a little bit different than what he planned. There's another guy I was thinking of that stayed. I mean, your Dallas Mavericks had Dirk stay his entire career.
Or 2011,
Exactly.
crazy.
I mean, nice seeing those guys stay with a single team, but it's also nice seeing the super teams form and play against each other.
Yeah.
You have early finals predictions. I guess we can talk about that.
Oh man,
Like what?
Early
Like 2
finals.
early finals.
Yeah, way
predictions?
too early finals predictions.
Way too early finals predictions.
I think everyone wants to see Lakers Nets.
But yeah, Nets Lakers. I think that's the easy off the top.
But don't sleep on the Bucks. The
Don't
Bucks.
sleep on the Bucks.
I think I could very easily see the Bucks getting back there.
The Bucks are back, and I think they're coming to play. I think the Bucks.
You think Bulls finish top 4 in the East?
Ooh, they've had a hot
start right now.
They've had a
Yeah.
hot start.
The Bulls
Can they keep that?
The Bulls look very good. They made a lot of moves in the offseason, brought a lot of pieces. I mean, they brought the greatest player of all time to play basketball, Alex Caruso, to lead that team. So I think they'll be all right. Top 4 in the East, definitely.
I think we'll know by the All-Star break what Chicago's going to be. I think give it some more time.
Yeah.
I'm not a believer yet.
All-Star breaks in February, I think.
Yeah, February.
So right after Super Bowl.
February.
Yeah.
February, April.
Which kind of works because after Super Bowl, we'll start talking more about basketball.
Yeah, because that's all there'll be to talk about.
Yeah.
Right. Well, spring training, though. We got the
Yeah,
6
that's
weeks of spring training.
baseball will start soon. So
Free agency for baseball starting.
yes, yeah, that'll be huge. Like we talked about earlier, there's a lot of big names going into free agency.
A lot of storylines about to start happening.
Yeah,
Not so much games, but storylines about to take over.
yep, for sure.
I think that's all we had for this episode.
All right. Well, Nick, it was great to have you on, man. We'd love to have you on again.
Thanks, guys.
Sure. Episode 14 next week, same time.
Yep, Wednesday.
Same basic structure.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
And if you want to be a guest, comment on the YouTube video you want to be a guest or Twitter.
Yep, we'd love to have you on. Check us out. Check out our other episodes on our YouTube channel at Talking Sports. Check out our Twitter at Talking Sports 19. And you can check out our first 4 episodes on SoundCloud on Talking Sports. So.
We got them on all sorts of platforms.
Yes, we do.
All right. We'll see y'all next week, guys.